Hi, welcome to Drawing Basics Part 1. Now you might think that the most sensible thing to do with the Drawing Basics class is to start off with line work or, learning how to draw a human figure or any of that sort of stuff. But frankly, that's pretty dull, and what I want to be able to do here is show you can have fun with it without having to do anything too massively complicated. So as the title says, here we're going to be doing some shading, and we're going to start off in part 1 with just a boring ordinary HB pencil. As you can see, it's the sort of thing you can pick up at any sort of stationery store. I also have an eraser. My other half doesn't like me saying rubber because he's like that. This one's quite a handy little one because it's got a mechanical pencil thing, so you can have as much of the eraser out as you want, and it's really handy to just put in your handbag and take anywhere. So what I'm going to be doing is a series of shadings on circles, just bog standard circles. All I've done is use a roll of tape to draw a circle because, as I say before, you don't want to be teaching you how to draw a circle. That's just a case of practicing drawing circles forever and ever and ever and ever. All I'm going to do here is shade it so it looks more 3D. Now, as you can see here, I'm holding the pencil quite far back because what I'm not trying to do is get detail work. I'm trying to do long lines because what I'm doing here is the basic a cross-hatching technique. So it's basically just a series of lines. It's really simple but really, really effective, and you can use this with pencils, pens, chalks, pastels, you name it. If you've got some sort of dry way of putting on colour of any kind onto the paper, you have got a way of using cross-hatching. A lot of people use this with dip pens and inks and it looks really nice, but as I say here, I'm just using HB pencil because you've probably got one at home. You can get started straight away and have a good old fun mess around. One of the best things about cross-hatching is that you can actually build up in layers, so you don't have to do it very firm the first time you do it, and it's just a case of doing lines one way and then doing lines the other way, so you've got lots of little crosses everywhere. So some people do it with teeny tiny little cross hatchings, but I find it's a lot easier, which with shading something like this, to do very long lines, because you can get over that blank piece of paper problem first straight away. So you're immediately putting down lots and lots of coverage on your the thing you're trying to draw, and it's a lot less stressful that way, because one of the scariest things I find is that you're sitting there with a white piece of paper and where do you even start? But with this, you're just immediately just going, well, okay, I know I'm going to have some light stuff all over this, so I'll do lots of light stuff here, and then I'll just carry on until it looks the way I like it to look. And that's what it's about, really. Drawing is always about how you enjoy, how you want it to look. It's not about it going, you don't necessarily want a perfect sphere. You might want something with a bit of texture, or you might want something that's a bit see-through, so you're going to have little highlights in strange places, or just remember, it's about you making it the way you like it, and not about making it something that's going to be like, oh wow, that looks just like a photograph of a ball, because, well, if you want a photograph of a ball, you photograph a ball. The only exception to that, I would say, is that you really want to keep in mind where your light's coming from. So if you have got a shadow for example on here, I've got a shadow on the sort of bottom left-hand side of the ball. Just remember that if I then start trying to do shading on the top right hand, it's going to really look odd, because light, in these pictures anyway, is only coming from one direction, not the band, just the actual direction. Well, that looks pretty shaded enough, so what I'm going to do is a little bit of tidying up on this one, and what you'll see that I do eventually is rub out part of the line on the top right corner here. The reason for that is that if you look at things in real life, this is just to add a little bit of realism, because generally things don't have a line between them and the rest of the world. It's just something I like to do. It's not necessary. If you're doing something a bit more cartoony, then just leave the line in, because you know, as I said before, it is very much up to you how you do it and how you like it. Yeah, that's it really, and that one looks pretty much done. Nice. I hope you enjoyed that, and as you can see, that was just with a bog standard, ordinary, run-of-the-mill HP, not Houses of Parliament, HB, an H and a B pencil. Just get in there and enjoy it and have a bit of fun. The reason I'm doing this on 2 layers of paper is just because I find it a bit easier to set it up for these videos. You don't have to do that. I'm using a drawing board to draw on so that I can lift it out of the way when my husband wants to do, or when I want to do, work on the lathe in our dining room. It's lucky our neighbours are deaf really, but there you go. And so I will be starting with another drawing here, and there we go. So we've got our circle here, and this one, so this one, what you see here is a different technique I'm using. I'm actually going to be shading it. What I would normally do this with a slightly softer pencil, but this works quite well with the HB pencil, and it's basically using as much of the pencil lead touching the surface as possible. I'm going to do this with circles because, as I say, HB is not the softest, and this is quite a fun little technique because it's very scribbly, very immediate, and I quite enjoy it, and it gives quite a nice effect, as you can see. So somewhere between I don't know, some sort of weird dragon egg and I don't know, something made of, I always think it kind of partially looks made of flame or rock or something like that. It's quite a nice little thing. If you use colours with this, you can get some really, if you've got some colour pencil and do this, you can get some really nice flame or watery effects. So, you know, just have a play with it, that's my advice. And I hope you enjoyed this one as well. Here I'm using the razor to do a bit of both tidying up and to add a bit more texture to it, because what you'll find is that you'll start getting dense areas, and it actually is really nice because you get those erased bits, but you've still got those in your finished drawing. So you'll have these odd little slightly less shadowed areas, and it gives it a lot more texture. It starts looking, as you can see in the picture, it starts in the video, it starts looking kind of like I don't know, a ball of wicker or something like that. So again, you can do that with colour pencils, you can use that with pastels, crayons, all sorts of things. So that's that one finished, and I'm quite pleased with that. So what will we do next time? Let me think. I know. What we'll do is we'll do a blue ballpoint pen, the cheapest and most likely to have upon your person thing for drawing. So if you're like doodling out and about, or if you're just bored in a meeting or something, you can actually create something that you're pretty proud of. And I will see you, well, you won't see, but I'll see you next time. So goodbye and stay safe.